For our project, we specifically wanted to focus on how plastic in the ocean is affecting marine animals and marine life. Here are some things you may not have known. For example, fish in the North Pacific ingest 12,000 to 24,000 tons of plastic each year, which can cause intestinal injury and death and transfers plastic up to the food chain to bigger fish, marine mammals, and therefore human seafood eaters. A recent study found that a quarter of fish at markets in California contain plastic in their guts, mostly in the form of plastic microfibers. Hundreds of thousands of seabirds ingest plastic every year. Plastic ingestion reduces the storage volume of their stomachs, therefore causing them to starve. It's an estimated that 60% of all seabird species have eaten pieces of plastic, with that number predicted to increase to a 99% by 2050. Dead seabirds are often found with stomachs full of plastic, reflecting on the amount of garbage in our oceans has rapidly increased in the past 40 years. Overall, we don't seem to realize how big the ocean is and how we are negatively affecting it and the several animals that live in the ocean. In the first decade of this century, we ended up with more plastic than all the plastic in history up to the year 2000. And every year, billions of pounds of more plastic end up in the world's oceans. Studies estimate that there are now 15 to 51 trillion pieces of plastic in the world's oceans, from the equator to the poles, from Arctic ice sheets to the seafloor. Not 1 square mile of the surface anywhere on Earth is free of plastic pollution. The fossil fuel industry plans to increase plastic production by 40% over the next decade. This means more toxic air pollution and plastic in our oceans. We need to take urgent action to address the global plastic pollution epidemic.
So, with such an urgent problem today, people all across the world are dealing with it in many ways. Some of these groups are entire countries, while others are just nonprofits. Small nonprofits, big nonprofits, everyone's dealing with this. As a matter of fact, more than 32 countries have pledged to tackle marine plastic pollution problems. Now, while these pledges are actually not concrete actions, some European nations, such as Belgium, France, Italy, and Turkey, have actually created policies that ban several types of plastics in stores, such as straws and bags, from being used. And so, similarly, some states in the U.S., such as New York, Hawaii, and Oregon, have also put policies in place to ban the use of disposable bags. Now, while these countries have been doing work, several nonprofits that we have heard of are also doing their part to save the oceans. 4Ocean, which is a company that blows up our Instagram with ads, as well as make bracelets and accessories out of plastic found in the ocean, and Oceania, the world's largest ocean pollution fighting organization, have been doing a plenty good. In addition, there are smaller companies out there, such as the Caribbean Reef Buddies based in Grenada. These smaller countries work on more specific problems, such as dealing with coral bleaching. Caribbean Reef Buddies, more specifically, they replant coral hatcheries that they believe will be able to withstand ocean acidification and higher water temperatures better to prevent coral bleaching. There is truly a lot being done in our oceans, but it still might not be enough. We need everyone to get involved. This does not mean that we need everyone to make like a huge change up. Rather, we want to see everyone make just small differences because it adds up. Here are some ways people can help our oceans, okay? Number one, make safe, sustainable seafood choices, all right? Our global fish populations and crustacean populations are rapidly being depleted due to demand, loss of habitat, and most importantly, unsustainable fishing practices. When shopping or dining, help reduce the demand for these species by choosing food that is healthy and sustainable. Number two, this one's pretty simple, okay? Use fewer plastic products. Carry a reusable water bottle like this, bring your bags to the stores, or just try to opt out of a straw every now and then. You know, plastic kills tens of thousands of marine life each year. Number three, clean up yourself after you use the beach. You know, just like when you go into someone's house, you don't want to leave it dirty, okay? Think about it like that. Whenever you go there, make sure to leave it exactly how you left with it. Make sure to leave it exactly as you found it. That means don't litter, don't throw things around, don't grab rocks, don't interfere with wildlife or remove corals, okay? And also, if you have the time, try getting involved with some beach cleanups. Four, be more conscious when you are doing pet things. You know, this might sound absurd, but there are a lot of things you can do that involve pets that can actually make a huge difference on our oceans. So first, when choosing pet foods, find one that is seafood sustainable. Just like when you're eating, it might actually hurt the ocean. Same thing with your pets. Don't flush your cat's litter down the toilet. Many people do that, and it causes a lot of pathogens to be released to our oceans. And also, don't stock your fishbowl with wild caught saltwater fish, because that might bring invasive species into other environments if it happens to be released. And number 5, and most importantly, okay? Try to get your friends to change some super small habits as well. We can make our differences, but if you can reach out to your community, your friends, and call them out when they litter, invite them to beach reaches, or start a conversation and educate them about these pressing problems, then we can see a huge difference for our oceans.